even have to go anywhere because this is the Talk Beat Jones and this is Talk Beat Jones, and I am Billy Jones, and thank you for being with us today, tomorrow, next day, and whenever you have an opportunity to view the program. We're going to go right into our program this morning. Got a few questions. You can call us at, let's see, that telephone number is 313-868-0342. Did I get it right?
Yes.
Okay, but make sure we got that.
I can go put it up.
That's okay. That's okay. We got it here.
Yeah.
We got it here. It'll be okay. That's Mr. Henry Tyler saying he's going to put it up. He don't have to. We got this. We're in the Virgin Islands today, tomorrow, and whenever else in the future, hopefully. But at this point, we want you to tune in and tell your friends that you can call us and talk this morning on the Talk Beat Jones. Again, I am Billy Jones. It's a little different, a little stranger. When you travel, the lighting is a little different. I see that I'm a little... ooh, there we go. We either dark or real light in the Virgin Islands. I guess that's the way they go. They got the light folks, the dark folks, and then you got those who don't have no color at all, I guess. But we are here, and, you know, we got something about Mike Duggan this morning. We got something, of course, about number 45. We have something about, what is this? We're in the Highland Park. There's things going on in Highland Park. There's things going on with the charter situation that is, to me, I'm going to let other folks talk on it, and then I'm going to give you my views. In case you want to talk on it, you can do that. But we're going to bring it to you straight, no chaser today, because it's going to start to get a little rough. The waters is going to get a little rough. And what is that ship that went down? The
Titanic.
Oh, who was that?
It's me.
Somebody in the background done jumped in and done got in on the show today, and you know, and see, your color look better than my color. I'm just having fun with you, brother.
Well, you know what? Varieties of spice.
But wait.
Go ahead.
I'm Billy Jones. I'm your host, and you are?
I am the inimitable and sometimes infamous, depending upon who you talk to, Thomas A. Wilson Jr., as I sign my letters to the editor.
All right, folks. Now, I want you to remember, going into today, that if you've ever watched First Take and those type of shows in which you watch, what's that guy's name? Little guy, but he's in control of the show. Stephen A. and the white boy. Now, you see how, and black guys and whoever else come on this show, they be going at it. And that means that he has his opinion, the other guys have their opinions, and sometimes they meet in the middle and they kind of agree, and most times they don't agree, because that's the premise of the program, is not to necessarily have the person that's on the show to agree with you. So today it just may be disagreeable because Tom gives you his opinions, and of course, as a person that's on the media here in TV, I try to stay north or south, but sometimes a man just have to stand up and be a man and have to speak out on what he sees from his own perspective. And so today I may give you a little something from my perspective, but Tom, what's on your mind this morning?
Well, you know, I noticed in the paper they were talking about an issue with number 45 and him talking about closing down the Mexico-U.S. border. And according to what I read in the paper, they said that it would not take but a matter of a few days before the American automobile industry would be shut completely down. Because the harnesses, in other words, the electrical wiring that goes into the cars, they're made in Mexico. And, you've got to put those harnesses in first before you do anything once you get the shell straightened out. And it would devastate the United States economy if those automobile plants would be shut down. So, and then number 45, he's backtracked on it, talking about he's not going to do it right away anyway.
Okay, well, I guess because the people are saying it's going to cost people too much money, and it's going to cost industry, it's going to cost jobs, and all of those particular
It would screw the economy of this country up.
Well, it just seems that, it's a doggone shame when we talk about pride and we talk about integrity and we talk about truthism, and then we have a man like Donald Trump, and
First of all, you called him a man.
Well, he is a man. I mean,
well, he's a man with a little M. We're a man with big M's.
No, here we go, y'all. It's gonna get started off to make it hot because again, I believe in this. Name calling is name calling. However you want to go with it. If it satisfies you, great. That's your thoughts. Me, I'm going to tell you, it's number 45. He's a man. He's a very brilliant man. He's a very brilliant man, and that's how he became the president of the United States of the America. Now, people can say what they want to do. They can talk about he got little hands and that he can grab them by the, he can do all those things. But guess what? He's the most powerful man, period.
Thanks to the Electoral College.
It doesn't matter. He is the most important man in the world because the system was put in place for anybody who chose to grab him by the electoral votes and become the president. And that's exactly what he did. Yeah, it was the electoral votes and all the money he spent. But, if you look back, all these people, black folks who were famous, you look back and you find that they were in social settings with Donald Trump. In all those years back, you go back and look at him. I look at he was with Muhammad Ali, Oprah, all these people making big money back. Donald Trump has been snoozing with all these people, sliding money to them and doing all the good things, giving them a good time, giving them a good party, giving them intros to different places, etc., to help their companies, help them make money. So, no, he's a big M. He's a big man. He knows how to lie real good. That's what I was getting to.
And often.
And often. But the thing about it is, why is it that everybody else is held to be truthful? And the president of the United States can go anywhere and lie. Mm-hmm. And people don't have a problem with it. And I say that because he was lying when he was running for president.
Yep.
Now, do you realize that he says his father was born in Germany? But, excuse me, I thought his father was born in America. So he was saying to folks, let's get President Obama's birth certificate.
Right.
Should we show that the man lies so much by saying, number 45, you need to give your father's birth certificate? Let's get Trump's father's birth certificate and find out, does Trump know where his father was born?
Well, they keep track in terms of him eating, quote unquote, making misleading or false statements. The Washington Post does that. And I mean, he's lied something like about 9,000 times, since he's been in office. And, I know, again, I saw it online where they were saying that there's some psychiatrists is kind of like it's raising a red flag in terms of Trump's mental ability when he talked about where his father was born.
But see,
and, they talked about the TFA, the 25th Amendment.
But you know what? Hold, Tom. These people that are having their state about his mental state, etc., they don't even count. They don't even count. They don't count. They count to you. They count to me. They count to the rest of the persons that under their guides. However, President Trump don't give a dipstick about what they have to say, period. Otherwise, he would not be going through the process of lying the
Yep.
way he is doing and doing the things he's doing. Now, I want to get on to something else now
All
because
right. Good.
did you know that the Highland Park is going to have a charter vote coming in May? Did you
No.
know that?
No, first I've heard of it.
Okay, family out there, did you
When you
know?
say charter, what charter for what?
I'll get to that.
All right, go ahead.
But the question is, can you give the folks the telephone number to call in case they choose to want to jump in on some things we're saying here?
Okay, and the area codes for all three phone numbers is 313-868-4336, 868-0342, and 868-0351.
All right. Now, you mentioned the fact that you asked, what is this about? Is that correct?
Yeah.
And you out there, you're saying, what the heck is that Billy Jones talking about again today? Well, I'm telling you the facts. Highland Park is going to have a vote, a charter vote, and it's coming in May. And the date is May the 7th. Did you hear about that? Did you know about that? Have anybody told you about that? Highland Parkers? Did you know? Well, now you know. And you need to tell someone else because this is a situation where it's going to cost you, the citizens of Highland Park, over $20,000 for this special election. Over $20,000 is the cost to the citizens. They are wanting to do, let's see, first of all, let's give you a geographic. Highland Park, 2.9 square miles, one school. They're talking about taking the Highland Park district, Highland Park City, and breaking it into 3 districts. 2.9 square miles, and they want to break it into 3 districts. Also, the main concern to this is they have a proposal change that would give power over the properties to the mayor. The mayor would have the distinct ability to control all property, as commercial as well as all properties. If this passes, the mayor, both your sitting mayor and your future mayors, will be the land barons. They will control the land. And that's what's on the charter change coming up in May the 7th. Folks, if you don't know, now you know. You need to tell somebody, talk to somebody, and see how do you feel about that. You may be in love with your mayor today, but how are you going to feel about the mayors that's coming up that's going to be in control of your properties?
Did they say who concocted this plan to
This
break?
this is put into the ballot. This is on the ballot. That is May the 7th, and whomever the groups of people that put together this particular situation was authorized by whomever was supposed to authorize it. I don't have the names, etc., because again, it's already ready to happen. This is April plus, and on May the 7th, the citizens of Highland Park will be asked to vote.
So we're talking about a month.
A month. And you can decide on if you want the mayor to be the person over all properties in Highland Park.
So basically what we're going to have is a city divided into 3 parts.
That's what it says. There's also but it actually, they tell me that there's only one initiative on the ballot, and that ballot is about giving the mayor the power over the properties. How about that?
Okay.
Now, that you heard it, what did you think about it?
It just seems strange to me that you've got in terms of government and departments and what have you, you've got a department that's in control, in a manner of speaking, with the, commercial and also the residential property. And now why they would want to, and then the mayor.
Why are you saying why? I mean, I'm saying while you're saying why, I listened to the mayor this morning chime in on this, so this is all done.
Okay.
This is not a proposed situation. This is not someone having the ability to think it out and say why they're doing this, how they're doing this, etc. It's too late. It's too late for the questions. It's done. It's on the ballot, May the 7th.
So it's just voted up or down?
Voted up or down. And I'll tell you, I heard the mayor, and the mayor is for it, per se. He's not, quote, directly saying it, but however, he said that the people voted to have this on the ballot.
Okay.
Now,
well,
I don't know.
That says it right there.
Okay. Now, let's see. Nipsey Hussle, the young man that was murdered. The young man that was murdered, Nipsey Hussle, brought out some situations that I was not aware of, and I had a chance to do a little seeking on my own, and I was able to look at a video from Dr. Sebi. Thank you, Tom. Dr. Sebi. And on this, I got out from it, that this was a brilliant, brilliant man. But do you know, in his interview, he says he never went to kindergarten, he never went to middle school, he never went to high school, and he never went to college. And yet, he is credited, and I'll show you how I classify that. He is credited with, he had the cure for cancer, AIDS, lupus, and other diseases. And he was sued for not having a medical license. So he went to the highest, they sued him and went to the highest court. Guess what? He won. He won. He said he thought he was going to bring 15 people in which he had cured of these diseases. But instead, 77 of them showed up. Huh? So why is it that we are not finding out or hearing more about his cures, about this man? Why is it more of the underground folks who know about this doctor, this man? Do you have an idea, Tom?
Well, I mean, I'm thinking in terms of what you just said. Obviously, you know, there was no involvement with the CDC, meaning the Center for Disease Control, and also even the medical community. There was no, I mean, I've seen Dr. Sebi on television, and, you know, I didn't really, you know, sit there and focus and laser, you know, watching, but I mean, he's not an unfamiliar name, and I understood that Nipsey Hussle was going to do I believe it was a documentary about Dr. Sebi, and they're trying to, I guess, attach, you know.
I don't want to get into the murder situation with him.
Okay.
I just asked about the question about Dr. Sebi, and what did you think about, you've been able to see him, you said, on different times, etc. What did you take, what is your personal take on it?
You know, I mean, I really don't have an opinion one way or the other.
Okay, he don't have an opinion, y'all. That's the first time Tom don't have an opinion.
I mean, because, I mean, I really don't know, other than the fact that, you know, I mean, I haven't read anything
I
there
haven't either.
to actually form an opinion.
But
I mean, if you, and basically it sounded to me like, when in terms of you mentioning Dr. Sebi, that the man didn't go to school.
And,
you know, and I'm not saying because he didn't go to school that he couldn't have done these things, but, you know, it seems awfully strange to me that he's got these, you know.
Okay, what he did is, on this, he gave from the sequences in which his life was about, and he gave the truth in terms of how he came about being this person that was able to use the herbs. He didn't use medicines, he used the various herbs.
Okay.
He explained how these herbs was working in the body. He gave a whole like a clinical understanding of how the herbs in your body and your system was working together, and that's how he came upon these particular cures. The man is very brilliant in putting these assets together because he's African. And they use what? Herbs for different cures, and that's what he did, and that's what he is known for. And again, regardless of what school he went to, President Trump never ran for office before, did he? So he had no background in running anything outside of his Trump businesses. So because he didn't have the school, did not disqualify him from being a brilliant tactician person that could put things together. Put things together, which is what he did. And I say that because for folks who want to go into, he didn't go to school, he didn't do this, he didn't do that. Well, he did go before the highest court in the land, and he won. When they said that he was not qualified, he won. And not only did he win, but he brought folks in, living people, to show these are my clients. Some of my clients who can give you their story. Now, tell me, did it work or did it didn't work?
Well, obviously it worked.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Now, let's move to, I'm listening about the charter. I'm listening and I'm disturbed, and I'll be straight up about it. I'm disturbed about the things that I'm hearing and seeing with the Charter Commission folks. I don't see, well, first, before I go into my scenario, let me let you hear from Tom.
Okay. First of all, in terms of the charter, I'm going to give them kudos for wanting to come together to try and, where it needs to be done, not so where it needs to be, but, in terms of making the charter better for the people of the city. Now, going to the charter and the 9 members, I think we've got some people or persons on the outside of that charter commission who want to be king or queen makers, and in my personal opinion, they need to stay out of charter business. And, because there is so much angst between, some of those charter members.
What's the word angst mean?
It means kind of like a little bit of hatred, maybe some anger, and, some of the stuff that's...
Because I want the audience to hear the actual meaning behind, sometimes when we use a certain word, that there is a certain group of people that have that educational background and they are used to using these words in their conversations, family, but then we have others that these words is like, huh? So he broke that word down for you. Thank you, Tom.
Okay. So, but, and then too, you got, and Billy's heard it, I've heard it, and probably sure some other people have heard it. They keep talking about, quote unquote, the people's slate. Well, you know what? There was more than, those charter people, they appeared on more than one slate. And, they've set like I said, they've set some of the charter people who ran on that slate up against the other charter members. And I'm going to let you know something also. I'm an executive board member and sergeant at arms of the Wayne County Democratic Black Caucus. 6 of those charter people that we interviewed, they're sitting on that charter commission. All right. And
yet we have other folks that said they were not invited to be interviewed.
Well, we reached out to as many as we possibly could.
The key word is you reached out to as many, and the statement that I heard from different people was that there are some people who actually are on the charter now who were not invited to those particulars. Go right ahead, sir.
Okay, but folk, they've got to put their egos aside and all that kind of thing, and say like, listen, this ain't about us, it's about the people, that kind of thing. But I heard yesterday morning one of the people that were talking on the Charter Commission. And
you can call his name, because I'm going to call his name. The guy you're talking about
is Richard Mack.
Richard Mack.
He's an attorney, which is there's more than one.
And I'm not sure if you heard his opening conversations.
No, I didn't hear it open.
That's what I'm saying. I got comments, bro.
Okay, but and I understood there was some kind of misunderstanding, for lack of a better way to put it, about the meeting that was supposed to be held on the 30th.
Let's not cleanse it. There was a hubbub. There was a shouting match.
Okay.
Okay. You can move on, sir.
And,
I'm going to tell you about it.
And from what I could understand, and I heard him heard a little bit this morning and didn't hear a lot, but going back to yesterday, that the vote that was taken to move that 30th meeting from the 30th to whatever day it was going to be. All right. And I understood again that, when that happened, some of the charter members walked out of the meeting.
Hold up. That meeting, that date that was changed, I watched the charter meeting that was on television. The controversy about that change of that date as such was that it was not proper. It was stated by the folks, the chairpersons, the parliamentarian and the vice parliamentarian both stated and went through the Robert's Rules of Order booklet to show that the motion that passed was not proper. They supposedly, as I thought I saw them go back and do it again, because, or no, the resummation to the change is what brought in that difference, but it was found that that was not proper, and the parliamentarian stated that fact, and the vice parliamentarian said that.
And and also in terms of the parliamentarian, I think you need to have a parliamentarian who is not attached to that charter commission.
Sounds like Richard Mack to me, you sir.
No, what I'm saying is I don't think that Tom Wilson's opinion
Thank you.
that Joanne Underwood being elected as a charter member should be the parliamentarian. Okay, the
Well,
person
when
that's
when you say that, when you say that, sir, that statement that you're making just now was also a statement that Richard Mack, who is on the charter and went through the process of putting in as the different sites or different people were put into office, they were all a part of it. So now you have the person who was with the other slate saying that this person who's on the other slate is not the person that should be attached to being a parliamentarian. Yet that was all done by you charter commission persons. Am I correct or incorrect?
Yeah, no, you're right. But see,
So
now
if they put that person in place and for them to move forward, then heck be you that you are the person that is having the situations that's causing this angst, as you call it, with this charter folks, and you now going to go on a major station and say that your parliamentarian person should not be the parliamentarian. That's like what? It's already been done. It's already been voted. And now you're going to undermine her authority, which is what you're doing. That's what people who call themselves being very smart, intellectual, will try to do, is to minimize other folks, to elevate them. I looked at the whole thing about Richard Mack, and everything is coming to Richard Mack about the voting and about the process of people that was being hired. Do you have any comment about the people being hired?
well, I mean, I didn't watch the meeting. I didn't see the meeting. So
Yeah.
I mean, basically, I don't really like to comment on something that I don't know
That's
or I
right.
haven't read about or seen, on the television. But going back to this charter situation, I remember when they held that first meeting. Okay.
Yes.
And that was back here sometime, a little bit, not too long after the election was over. And all I'm saying is about the parliamentarian is you need one parliamentarian, and that person should be someone who is sitting outside of that charter commission and then to make decisions. Then too, like in your discussion about this, you made mention about the slates. We've got to get away from.
We can't get away. Let's understand.
Well, no,
we can't.
no,
Man. We can't get away. We go through this ice cream type of thing. We can't get away from the slates.
No, but what I'm saying
those people
is-
are in the personalities, and the situation is that they are not going to get away from who they call themselves representing. The slate calls themselves representing the people, and the other folks are representing whom? I've seen the
They're
power
representing
plays.
the people, too.
No, well, you say that.
No, they are.
You say that.
The people
I have watched.
elected them.
Well, how did they get? How much money was backing them to help them get elected?
Now that I don't know.
Well, that's what I'm saying. That is what has been talked about. Is the monies that had gone out to help back those particular folks. You've heard it. I've heard it because we had folks on our shows that's made those accusations, those statements about the different slates and who got monies, or then particularly who got the monies, but the people that was getting money from different sources. That's what I heard on my show.
Okay, but like I said, I
I'm
I
putting you
don't
on
know.
the
Like I
I'm
said,
putting you on the spot.
like I said, I don't know who got what.
Yeah,
All
yeah.
I know is you had 9 people who went out and collected signatures. They got on the ballot and they were voted in, and they are it right now.
Yeah, yeah.
And from what I saw at that one charter meeting I went to, I saw some frustrated people sitting up there with all of this nonsense that was basically going on. Instead of being there to take care of the business of the people, they're dealing with minutia.
Well, let's go with this thought. Let's go with this thought. If you state, and Richard Mack states, that
And now again, I have not talked to Richard Mack.
you didn't
okay?
have to, but you made the statement, and I heard him on the radio make the statement. So I'm not trying to invent something. I'm not trying to put
Oh, I
you in the
understand
same
what you're saying.
category. I'm just stating that these are things that's being stated. So now, why is it that we can have this conversation about this person who's elected to this office, who is supposed to have this authority, and Richard Mack, the attorney, is going through the steps, probably not only in the statement that was made on the radio, but probably because those 5 people are friends. I should say 6 people, because they've talked about the fact that the other person that was a part of Slate is now walking lockstep with the other folks. That's 6 folks, and probably having outside conversations with his colleagues about how to go about doing these things on this charter situation, because what? They have the power. They have the power. And that's one thing we talked about early on, is that it was going to boil over. Because, yeah, you say that, and I said it too, that they were trying to work together, looked like they were trying to bend over, do some things, but no, it was not working that way at this point. I heard a full, blown up, blown out, shouting, street, utter type of conversation that went on the radio between Richard Mack, Joanna Underwood, as well as council charter person, Ms. Small. They were acknowledging the same conversation, and of course, Richard Mack is trying to smooth it over and say, "Oh no, these things didn't happen." Well, these people who are making these statements in public is stating the fact that, oh, let me go back. If you're speaking about Joanna Underwood being the parliamentarian and should not be doing that, well, why would this lady who is the chairperson, who was with the emergency manager office, why would she be qualified, and why should she be respected to be the chairperson when all you've gotten is complaints about her? So why would she not have the same undercutting that Joanna Underwood is receiving as the parliamentarian?
Well, I mean, first of all, Carol Weaver doesn't have the powers that a parliamentarian does. I mean, the parliamentarian is there to basically make sure that things are running smoothly. In terms of Robert's Rules of Order.
Did you say that she has the power? Did you say that she has the power?
I mean, she's got the power to being the chair.
I'm talking about the parliamentarian.
The parliamentarian is there to make sure that, Robert's Rules of Order are followed.
So if she is stating that she got the book or the outline from Robert's Rules of Order, we're going to do these things by Robert's Rules of Order, then what makes her so unqualified when all she is doing is saying we're proceeding with the Robert's Rules of Order in the way that we're going about this business, and it's being interrupted by other charter members?
Well, first of all, I didn't say that she was not qualified.
I didn't say qualified per se. I'm saying if you are saying that she should not be, then why are we at this point? They've been on that commission now for almost going on 6 months. Why would we, as outside people, be regurgitating something that should not have been said by Richard Mack for other folks who are not on that commission to be able to regurgitate it themselves and go through the doubting of how this person is going about being a parliamentarian? How is that being a team person and speaking about your colleague in that fashion so that other folks pick up on everybody has an opinion? Well, everybody has an opinion now about how in what she should be doing as a parliamentarian when we are expecting them to be moving forward in taking care of the people's business? Why did that come out of that man's mouth?
Well, I mean, I don't know. I'm not in Richard's head, so I mean, I don't have his brain. So, but I mean, me myself, and I've talked to more than one person who also feel that Miss Underwood should not.
Wait, I'm not going there. I'm not going there, Tom, because again.
Well, I mean, you said that.
No, I'm saying
saying
to you that I'm asked the question of you. Mm-hmm. I don't give a doggone about what other folks are saying. You're sitting here with me. So the process is what I'm stating. I make the claim and give you the name. I don't say other people. I said I gave you the name of where I got my information from. I gave you the scenario in which I heard the interactions of the people that was going through this, that we have put in charge of taking care of the rules that's going to rule this city for many, many years. And all I'm seeing is this undercutting, this jive time stuff, this bullying that's going on by people on this charter commission, and it's blowing up. Now, whether it's right or is it wrong, it's not for the people. And the process there is there's been complaints about when they talked about changing that meeting. Max says, oh, we had 100 and some people that we had them scheduled for the 17th, the 18th, the 19th, and etc. Mm-hmm. Okay, great. But the bottom line is, my understanding from listening to Charter Commission person says, oh, but the person that was hired is your friend, Richard Mack. Did you hear that?
Like I said, I didn't see the Charter Commission meeting.
I didn't either.
Nor did I hear all of the comments or discussion from yesterday's meeting with former DFT President Keith Johnson.
Let me give you a clarity for me. And I, if you were talking to me and I was at a disadvantage, I would tell you, I would do the same thing you're saying too, Tom, is that I don't comment on things I don't know, I haven't read or seen. Just like you, I would do that same particulars. Mm-hmm. But I'm just happen to have been engaged with this. I've listened to the media. I've listened to the folks who are sitting on that commission. I've listened to them speak out on the radio. They're on the radio consistently. They're speaking about what is going on inside, why it happened. They spoke about the fact that the meeting that was that they didn't show up, and I think is really when I'd say that people are talking outside of being in the meeting, making plans about what's going to transpire in the meeting, is because the meeting on the 23rd, they didn't have a quorum. Why? Because the 5 people that is on the other slate didn't show up. Is that incidental, or was that planned? Was that planned for them not to show up? Huh? But so that the meeting that was held did not have enough folks to have a quorum. And, it's like I said before, we talked about this before, Tom, I said, whatever they're saying, it don't matter. It don't matter. Because the process is that help me, Tom, I lost my thought. I got the call.
It happens sometimes. Wait till you get my age.
Ain't got to wait that long.
But go ahead.
No, I'm still lost.
Yeah, but
I know.
All right.
But you got these people.
See, it ran back.
Yeah, it ran back, kind of. I'm trying to work it back in. But here's the thing. When you have those people that showed up for the meeting, the charter folks, they didn't have enough.
Right, they didn't have enough people there to have a quorum.
Right.
To really conduct any business, meaning to vote on anything. Now, they could talk about stuff, but when it came down to a vote, you don't have a majority there, so it's all null and void.
Guess what? So now all the people that showed up to voice and to see things being done was for naught. Was for naught. Because they talk about people walking out What about the ones that didn't show up? That was rumored because they had somewhere else to go. And when I say this, I'm not making this up in my own mind. This was stated by the Charter Commission personnel themselves, who have the interactions with the other Charter Commission persons and know per se where they went. That's what they state. Otherwise, they are lying. It's either you attended the party or you went to do something else, or the other Charter Commission persons are lying. And I have not heard anybody say that they're lying. Nobody. So when somebody comes on the air and try to smooth things out because they have a relationship with that person on the air, I believe that's part of the problem, is that the people who are on the Charter Commission are connected. They are connected.
Well, somebody's always connected.
I understand that, but we're talking about these particular folks who are on the Charter Commission, and we're starting to see how things are starting to work out, and it is high explosives that we're watching. So where I'm getting to, family, is that you need to know that we've trusted our vote to bring in 9 folks to look at how to develop the future shape of our city. And it's not going to be done proper. You have this fire that's burning on the Charter Commission with the folks that's there, and the breach is getting wider and wider and wider. And once you've lost the ability to respect your fellow person, then all hell is ready to break loose at any given time. And you take that type of feeling, that type of interactions to a meeting, and you got folks out there who are ready to get riled up anyway. You got folks, you can tell them, Tom, am I lying?
Well, right. And then, some folks, they like drama. I'm talking about some of the people in the attendees at the meetings. Some of them do. And, some of them are there to cause chaos as well.
Well, chaos causes popularity. If I don't have anything going in my life, if I can get up in front of people and get in front of that microphone and got the cameras on and I can go ape wild or white wild, then I got folks who say, "Oh man, you brave, you awesome. You said some powerful things. Girl, you really laid it on them, didn't you, girl?" Yeah, I had to tell them because, that's the way I think. Mm-hmm. So everyone has a chance to step out and be popular or get their 2 cents of fame. Didn't say 15, 2 cents. And now you're going to have these charter meetings in which you're going to have nothing but chaos, nothing but the people going to be yelling at the Charter Commission people. The Charter Commission people going back and forth. There's all types of accusations going on. What are we going to do?
Well, in terms of the charter, okay, first of all, the people will ultimately be the ones to decide in terms of what's presented to the Charter Commission and what they put together to present to the people to vote it up or down. And it doesn't, and then too, it's not like the whole charter, meaning the city's constitution or the Bible, is going to be changed. There are going to be certain ordinances, in there, or laws or rules or regulations in there that are going to be changed. And see, that's what I think some people think, that we're going to have a brand new charter. No, you're going to have the same charter, basically, with some amendments and changes to it.
That's the way it's done, is that you have some that you leave and others that you add.
Right.
And so that's why they're having it's called the revision
right,
of the charter. So the process that they're talking about now is 6 months in, and they're still squabbling.
Yeah.
Just on this point or that point. But again, I'm going to say it, and I have stated it 3 weeks ago. 3 weeks ago, that I could tell you that if the process did not move in a smooth direction, that you were going to have all hell break loose.
Well, it was hell breaking loose in the first meeting.
Well, they talked about the fact you did too, and I did. I mean, when I say you, I mean me too. Was talking about how it looked like they was trying to get it together, how they was trying to somewhat work together. There was some bumpy waters, but it looked like they was trying to work some things together.
Like the storm was cooling down.
Yeah, but it seems like that was a trick. It seems to me that that was a trick. In that, listen to this. They had, when those folks walked out, those 3 folks walked out, if I'm not mistaken, let's see, 3 and 2 is 5,
Right.
and 3 more makes 8. There's supposed to be 9 commissioners.
Right.
So at that meeting, 1 commissioner took off anyway. Huh?
Okay.
So there was 8 commissioners, and when the 3 walked out, and the other 5 commissioners were there to make this vote, guess what? Is it kind of convenient that the vote went down 3-2 to pass? Huh? Doesn't that seem strange? That those 5 people have a way to make it so that we can look like we have some parity here, but all we've got to do is get 1 vote more to make it pass. Now, the question would be is, if those other 3 folks had stayed, would those other 2 folks that voted no would have still voted no?
More than likely so.
I don't think so. I don't think so. I do not think so. I've been around too many multimillionaire people that taught me how to play the game. I've seen too many council persons knowing how to play the game, play the number game. And this Charter Commission folks, they're doing the same thing. They have the numbers and they know how to play the game. And that's what's going on. Yes, I'm making that thought. That's my opinion. That's not Tom's opinion. That's not your opinion. That's my opinion. That's the way I feel about it. And going forward, I'm going to bring out more because I'm going to investigate more. And I'm saying too, all those people's, I got it all written down. I got all those people's names down. And I wonder how many folks know the people besides Carol, besides, is her name Carol?
Yeah.
Okay. No Carol, no Richard Mack, Underwood,
Right.
Miss Small. How many of you know the other commissioners?
There's a guy named Quincy Jones.
I mean, I'm saying, that's what I'm saying. They're so quiet. But you see, there's 2 other ladies there, 2 or 3 other ladies there. I have yet to hear them jump in and have a position, basically. They vote. They vote. But I have not heard them get into the mix. Now, when I say that, am I at the meetings? No. Am I a person to try to watch them when they come back on television? Yes. Am I a person that's listening to the active, quote, charter members speaking and speaking about people that's interactive on the charter? Yes. Am I ever hearing those other names come out? No. Why? Why? Because there is leadership from that slate, and I'm going to say it again because that's the way it is. There's leadership on that slate, and with the others, it's just their carry-on bags to vote, to keep them in power. And that's the way it works. That's the way it's going. And if that's wrong, and I would look up to the sky and say, Lord, I hope it's wrong. I hope it's wrong. Because all we want the people to do is to get together and work on the behalf of the betterment of the people and not play the game of trying to put themselves in a better spot for a greater life for them and their family, because they've done some good things and they will receive the rewards. I know a young man that's on the commissioner, as a commissioner now, who was on the Charter Commission, ran for office, didn't win. Ran for office, didn't win. But the mayor put him in a wonderful position. What's going on? What's going on here, y'all? What's really going on? Do the educated people feel that those who may not be quite as educated don't see the game and don't know the game? Is this really where we have the haves and the have-nots? And the haves feel that they can trick the have-nots? I'm saying to you now, Detroit, if you listen to the folks, if you listen to the rumble of the folks, the people are getting tired of the game playing by the folks who call themselves the in people. I said the I in people, not the in people.
Right.
Okay? They're getting hot. They're getting upset. And, Tom, help me with this one. Are there people who we call agitators? Can you speak on that?
Oh, for sure. You got people who are agitators. Like I said earlier, you got people that come to those charter commission meetings that come there with want to bring nothing but drama, and I heard somebody once say like democracy is not pretty. I mean, yeah, but democracy in a manner of speaking doesn't have to be as ugly as I've seen it get at times. And
what about some of the radio hosts? What about some of the radio hosts? Let's get real with this. Not calling names, but I'm just talking about not just the radio hosts, but the folks who are able to call in to these hosts, knowing that they're able-bodied to be able to say these things that are where it could start a fire.
Well, and again, playing the game, right? If you got something you want to discuss and it's maybe a hot topic, or maybe you want somebody to get behind you and back you up, you let folks know before you get on the air that, hey, we're going to be talking about this, and go ahead and get your, telephone number and stuff and line them up and, have them call in and that kind of thing. I remember Tatum Eason, God rest his soul, he said this one time. He said, anytime you come to a meeting and there's going to be like a mic there, he said, you put your people up front right next to the mic. And that way you control, in a manner of speaking, what's going to, the conversation that's going to be had.
And Tatum also says, Mr. Eason, my mentor, that politics, if you want to be the nice person, to keep your clothes clean.
So you got to be diabolically evil.
And that politics is that if you want to get in the mud, because politics is dirty, it's nasty, it's filthy. And if you want to get in and wallow with the pigs, then that's what you're going to do. If you're going to be an effective politician, political person.
But you know what? I don't think politics is dirty to this point. The people that get in there, they make it dirty because basically politics is black and white.
Well, how do you get in? Well, that's how they got me. But that's the whole process. Is that when you look at all of these people, including the UAW and the unions and all of these people, and you look at everybody that's doing all these things, because what? Somebody got them in. Somebody either appointed them or brought them up or was voted, and they got in, and dark side came out. Every day, people are being taken down or brought out about how they've taken advantage and got 100,000, 200,000, 1.5 million that they've taken. That's dirty. That's nasty. We've seen people, you could see about your Donald Trump, how nasty and how dirty he was, and people that couldn't figure out how to get in the mud with him. The problem is, if you don't know how to get in the mud, then you definitely don't need to be in politics.
Some mud you don't want to get in neither.
hey, some people done did the number 2 there.
Yeah,
leave it for you. But family, this has been the Talk B. Jones, and it's over in the islands, and I kind of like this.
Yeah, tropical breeze, white sand.
Yeah, and
teal green, blue water.
Ladies running out there with the nice bikinis.
Where?
He's
seeing something I'm not seeing.
You got to use your imagination.
Just my imagination.
You know it, brother. Sing that song. Well, family, this has been a talk this morning on the Jones. And Tom is here. He's throwing out his thoughts. I told you that we wasn't going to agree on everything, but that's okay. He got broad shoulders. I got shoulders.
Well, that's life. Salt and pepper. I mean, could you just imagine eating eggs with no salt and pepper?
Oh, I'm going to bring a book about salt. Y'all got to give up that salt. You got to give up that salt. Pepper is good. And it sounds funny, but I got a book by a doctor that was brought here telling us why we are dying from our consumption of salt. Well, family, take that and don't put no salt on it. Little pepper. I'm Billy Jones, and your name, sir?
Tom Wilson.
And today has been Talk Beat Jones in the islands, Virgin Islands. We love you, we respect you, and hopefully we'll see you again.
And there goes a lady from Ipanema.
Hey, sing that song, bro. Thank you. Bye, y'all.
Ciao.
Oh, 313.
868-4336, 868-0351, and 868-0342.
And 313-412-3111 is my number. Thank you. Bye.